Hello my darlings, welcome to my channel. This is Tarot and Ink and I am Kaz, and I thought I was comfortable but I'm not. There we go, we're kind of comfy. There we go. So this is your weekly reading for, what day are we on? This is your weekly reading for what's going to be 30th of March till Sunday 5th of April, which is blowing my mind. I don't know where this year is going. I don't know about you guys, but I am so exhausted. Aries season is kicking my butt. So we'll get cracking as we pick things out. I thought I'd do something a bit different. I feel like I'm going to be here a while, so I've got my 2 cups of tea, and I've got your gemmies or your charmies, or you know, whatever the word is that you can pick. So we're going to see if we just connect to our spirit for a second and take a deep breath. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So pile 1. Let's pick out your cards. So I'm going to do 7. And I have my other bits with me here today simply because I might feel like using them. I never really know. So I read intuitively, and sometimes I get like these like nudges. It's almost like someone's pulling on me to be like, here, or this, or look at this, or whichever else. But yeah, I thought I'd give you a little glimpse into behind the scenes on how I do things. And it really is just a case of picking out some charmies in a bag and throwing them on the table, seeing what order they land in. So we look at pile 1, which is this. It looks like a daisy that's like gold and stuff. Oh, I have a new microphone as well, so like peachy on the sound. Here we go. We want to go, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Oh, hello. 4, 5, 6, 7. So, pile 1, that's your pile. We're not looking at that. Oh, look at you spin. Pile 2, pile 2, pile 2, pile 2. This like, oh, hello, feeling flush. One, 2. Oh, hello, cheeky. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're feeling flush, but you're a hermit. Let's see what day that was. What did I pick for you? 4. So you want, okay, 5. You want to jump out. 6. Yeah, 7. Okay, I'm just hearing that wants to go on top. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, you're on top. You're on top. Pile 3. This is genuinely how I just do things. Pile 3, hello. 1, 2, 3. Give me a sec. 4. No. No. 4. There we go. 5, 6, 7. Okay. I mean, we'll see if I actually did count 7. I'm pretty sure I did. So, let's keep you there. Okay, pile 1. We're going to have a look in a second. So please pick your pile. I will have hopefully remembered to put timestamps. So we have pile 1, which is the lovely little daisy. And then we have pile 2, which is like a little spray. Perfume, that was the one I wanted. And then you have pile 3, which is like this cute little butterfly with the stars in its wing coming along and just kind of like dropping, I was going to say dropping pollen and niceness on people. Maybe that is your vibe, pile 3. You can hear my cat in the background, I'm sure. This is Jinx, wherever she goes. And yeah, we'll crack on with the reading. I will say the obvious stuff. Thank you, Jinx. You know, this is for entertainment purposes. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Have fun with this stuff, guys. I love watching readings. I love watching other tarot readers and everything else. Just have fun with this whole thing. And Jinx is just finding a place to sit down so she can enjoy. Right, off you go. Pick. hello Pile 1. So I've had to start your video again. Just because I'm having an absolute meltdown. Which I feel like is really resonant with your group. It's not to say that this last week hasn't been, you know, there hasn't been some successes and some joys and some nicety. But, you know, it also means that you're kind of a bit exhausted. And I feel like Pile 1 is usually the pile kind of, for me, more than anything else. And I keep forgetting about certain things. Jinx just wants attention. So let her do her thing. But yeah, I was talking about your charm and just had absolute brain freeze and couldn't get my words out, but I had everything living in my head, and I feel like that'll be really reminiscent of some of you in here. But what I was trying to say was, I also had like a bunch of notifications come through, and I thought I'd put my phone on airplane mode. Turns out I hadn't done my due diligence. So yeah, that might be a sign for some of you. But with the charm, I'm like really drawn to this kind of like dark section kind of here. I don't know if you can see it in the light. Maybe there. There's like a really small bit here. And even though the rest of the white is, you know, a kind of perfect white, I'm really drawn to the little markings and indents in it, which is telling me a sign of don't be a perfectionist this week. You know, you're already spending too many plates, you're already exhausted. It's not necessarily a bad exhaustion. It is just a case of you are coming a bit close to burnout. And I'm telling you this all, and obviously need to live this advice because I am definitely a Pile 1. But I don't know if other tarot readers admit which pile definitely resonates with them, but yeah, I do. Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to tell you. You know, there's a spiky bit over here, like a little stabby thing where things aren't, you know, perfect in that sense. So that's where I feel like you are. I need to take my cardigan off because I am suddenly really, really warm. I feel like some of you as well are kind of battling with some kind of sickness, whether it's cold or flus, or obviously this is for entertainment purposes only and take what resonates and all that. But I feel like some of you might need to just adjust your sleep. I don't know if I gave you that, you know, advice last week, but, you know, some of you are, you know, you're better one week and then you've got flu the next, and then you've got a cold the next, and then you're recovering. I just suddenly feel really warm. Almost, not quite like I've got a fever. No, well, let me adjust this camera 1 second because that is not right. There we go. Yeah, not quite like I've got a fever, but I'm fighting something. You know, you wake up in the morning and you're a bit more groggy, there's stuff in your throat, you can't breathe out of both nostrils. It's all that kind of stuff where you're like, I should probably just, you know, rub some vapor rub or vaporo, as we like to call it, and just take a minute. Than anything else. And I feel like the weekends just kind of fly for you. That's already what I'm getting. I didn't have a look at these cards when I did this recording the first time around because I was getting lost in the charm. So we're going to have a look. So we want to go Monday. Hopefully this is okay. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I like to do different voices. Go with it. I'm sure we all do. I have, you know, some American friends who love to do a British accent, like a stereotypical kind of Bridgerton accent. I have other mates that love to do other accents. We're all just a bit weird. So it's fine. As long as we're not offending anyone or, you know, or anything else, or invitation, that you know, we're good. So Monday, yeah, we've got luxury here. I'm going to come to that in a second. Tuesday, ooh, Pile 1, you saucy minx. Come on, Pile 1. Wednesday, good, I'm glad I'm Pile 1. Thursday, what a week! Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, this is nice. We need this week. I am claiming Pile 1. You can put in the comments which one you're claiming. You don't have to. Jinx is clearly claiming Pile 1. I don't know if you can hear her. She was purring at the start when I did the other recording. So we have Monday, which is all about luxury. This is about, you know, sitting in your successes. This is about maybe, you know, eating at a restaurant or having a takeaway or something, you know, rather than cooking. Yeah. That might not feel like a luxury to some people, but for people like me, that definitely feels like a luxury. And, you know, I'm really drawn to like this kind of base here, which tells me you need to kind of do your oh my God, I can't say this word. Due diligence. There we go. And you can see it, this kind of base, because it's like, you know, successes are coming. I mean, look at this week, but you know, success and everything that you can achieve or will achieve, things are coming in. It's like you are ready for the fruit of your seeds to grow. That was a weird way of saying that. You've planted the seeds, you've done the gardening, you've done all of that stuff, and you're like, okay, this is time to bear fruit now. You know, I've been working on this project for 5 months, 6 months, however many months. I've been waiting years for this hospital referral or whatever else, and like things are finally coming in, and it comes in at the right time. You are going to continuously just hear Jinx in the background. This is her home as well, so if you hear the litter or her scratching or whatever, just ignore it. It's her home, and she also likes to be involved and be vocal. I'm also really drawn to here, which is like the vines. Can you see that? Yes, intertwining. I'm really lost for words this week. Like every time I do your pile, I struggle with my words more so. And I feel really flittery, like I'm going from one thing to the other. Like there's a lot of spinning plates, but I feel like once one success comes in, because all your successes connect. You know, you can see it with the signs and everything here, and you can see the way that they all feed into each other. They all feed into the lotus. The lotus feeds, sorry, pink lotus. There we go. The lotus rays into your cups, into success, the 4 of cups, and everything else kind of shines. Your emotional, which is the blue, is calm. There's a real loving energy to it. And yeah, there's a kind of grey, and there's like, sometimes when I see this kind of grey, I think of like negative thoughts, you know, things that are pushing, you know, pushing your ego or anything. And a lot of that is to kind of protect yourself. And what I mean is, you know, we always, a lot of us anyway, really think about failure and what it means not to succeed. And we work on that within our kind of shadow self. You see the shadowy bits, quite literal. It's on the tongue. But no one ever tells you how to deal with success. Like, exactly, Jinx, thank you. When success arrives, how do you deal with it? You know, do you spend, if you've gone for a competition and you know there's a cash prize, have you spent all that money before even entering that competition? You know, it's all of those things. And I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying think about your successes as well and allow your cups to be filled. I feel like some of you are, you know, allowing yourself to be looked after. I'm really drawn to these like spiky handles, which gives me kind of a bit of, not devilishness, divilment. There we go. Divilment is a real Irish way of saying something. Just a playfulness and a kind of rebelliousness and yeah, I always think as handles kind of like hands in the way that you hold your emotions or your successes, or you know, it's a physical kind of hold or filling. I really hope that makes sense. And the spikiness here just reminds me of like, be careful about stabbing yourself. Be careful about your thoughts on successes. And know that you deserve every success. So that is Monday. These others won't be quite so long as a whole introduction. So Tuesday, which is great, you're fully in your pleasure element here. And pleasure doesn't have to mean sexualness. You know, and you've got more vines intertwining because you've got 6 of cups. You've got a real progression. There's a lot of cups. There's a lot of emotion. I feel like some of you've got some good news coming. Some of you, it's going to be the start of the week, round here. Round kind of like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And for others of you, it would be Thursday, Friday. No, that's Thursday. Sorry, Friday, Saturday. We're into here. And when I say into here... She wants me to get her toy. I'll get it in a second. And because her toy has like chicken treats inside, and she'll just kind of hit it once and then scream at me to get it out. So if you hear her yowling, she's absolutely fine. She's just going to do that. Anyway, so yeah, how the vines kind of fill up here, and pleasure doesn't have to mean, like I said, sexual pleasure or anything else. In that sense, it means the pleasure that you gain from the things that bring you joy in life, the things that you love. That's what this means. You can see how the emotions, which we've got here again, can you see the water? Is a slightly deeper emotion here. There's a real, but the sky is clearer. It's almost like doing a reversal here. So your thoughts and everything that bring you joy is clear. This is the stuff that you really love, and you're in the kind of depths of it. So it isn't just emotional depths. It kind of reminds me of being in, you know, the flow state, that kind of dopamine. You have no concept of like time passing. You're in your flow state. That's Monday, Tuesday. And then more cups. This is a great week for us. Is love. A second of cups. So some of you, there'll be a little sparkle, a little flirt, you know. I feel like there's a real gratitude to this love as well. So those of you in relationships and couples, there's a real kind of joy and love and gratitude. And this to me is like the ultimate love card. And I think for others of you, it's the love that have come out from pleasure. A lot of people take it as romantic, and I don't feel like it's necessarily romantic, because this can also be like an intertwining of your thoughts with your emotions, like you are on the same page as yourself with that. And there's just an ease to Wednesday. It's very different to last Wednesday. And there's just a kind of tranquility. That was the word I'm after. And you've got a really gorgeous enjoyment of that. And I feel like this is where this comes in, like enjoy how perfect everything is. Yeah, there's a little smudge there, but like, this is enough. You know, it doesn't have to be 1,000% perfect or 100% perfect or whatever else. This enjoyment is enough. Because I feel like a lot of us, pile one, I definitely think this piles for me as well, is, you know, we can have what I said earlier about dealing with success. We can have the success. We can have, you know, all of this great stuff. And then sometimes on one hand feel not quite worthy of it. And on the other hand, also kind of question it and be like, you know, this doesn't last forever. Maybe I don't get attached to success. And there is some kind of like mindfulness with that. But you cannot be attached to joy and love, success in that way and still be happy and thrive in those moments. It's like some of you, I'm saying this in a weird way, but hopefully it resonates. Like some of you almost punish yourself and think, well, nothing lasts forever, so I'm not going to enjoy it. And that's not what kind of mindfulness or detachment or anything else means. It means really feel and enjoy everything, but know that it's not going to stay. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy everything. It doesn't mean you close yourself off. It means expect things to change, but enjoy everything in this moment. Hopefully I finally explained that, because on Thursday you are a lot more reflective. You know, the Empress is a gorgeous card. I'm really drawn to these kind of swirls, which again is like the kind of water. We're here, we're connecting the vines, and as well you've got the royalty and the luxury of the swan. You know what I've just realized as well? Venus is in Taurus as well. I think Venus is already in Taurus or coming in, and we have a new moon or a full moon. We have a major moon thing going on. I am the worst at astrology, but I really try. And I do a lot of like learning. None of it sticks. It's not my skill set, but luckily I have things like the Chani app and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh cool, this is why I feel crap. And all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah, Venus is in Taurus. So you're going to feel like a bit lovey-dovey, you know, birds of a feather flock together. That reminds me of like being with your friends and, you know, offering yourself gifts, being more reflective and looking at you as a person. I won't be surprised if some of you wake up on Thursday and you're like, damn, I look good, you know. And there's a kindness and a grace to this. I'm looking at the way she's sat. It's a very kind of, I'm using the term feminine as in feminine energy. I don't do sexes or genders or anything else like that. Is literally, it's easier to when referring to feminine male energy, you know what I mean, and just apply it. Just apply it to whatever fits you. You know, yeah, there's kind of like a feminine, floaty softness to her, a gentleness. Yeah, and I'm drawn to, I feel like by Thursday, there's a couple of things you've just dropped. And I don't mean that in terms of like tasks or responsibilities or anything else. I mean like mental stuff, like the noise in your head. You've just kind of dropped and be like, you know what? I'm going to give myself some grace. I'm going to give myself some love. I'm going to, you know, you got the swan with the little chicks down here. You know, you're just sort of owning all the little parts about yourself, giving yourself loving energy, you know, using, I hope a lot of you use a nice scrub because you deserve it, but like using a scrub, using nice hand cream, invoking all of that nicety. Friday is a little bit different in that sense. I feel like, did you guys have this last week? Truth is about, yeah, two things coming together. It doesn't necessarily mean peace. It just means a truce. We've called a truce. We're putting this down for now. We've not necessarily resolved everything, but there's a kind of pause. There's an overthinking here, but this to me doesn't feel like your usual overthinking by Friday. It feels like you've been offered an opportunity. And this feels to me like ideas, like sparks of inspiration. And, you know, you're just kind of your neurotransmitters firing off in different ways. And a truce also means a case of, for me, yeah, I'm seeing like X marks the spot, as in treasure, as in like you are going to have to focus on digging at X marks the spot at that point in order to get the treasure. You don't know how long it's going to take, you know, what's going to happen or whichever else. But this is important. So like all those plates that you spin, you're going to have to just stop them for a minute, or stop some of them, put some of them on pause, adjust. Because this is like a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. It's that feeling of, I'm really going to make a change. I've been offered, you know, a contract or some more work. You know, you're working with a different kind of person that you can really learn from. This feels like a, you know, take what resonates. You'll know what applies within your space. But yeah, this feels like you're just having to put a couple of things on pause in order to redirect focus into here, and it pays off. Ready for Saturday, where things really kind of take off. You've got there's a difference in the kind of energy here, where I feel like all these sparks of inspiration just kind of like blow up a bit. And this to me feels like a team collab as well. Saturday is a really nice day for just that. That's very Aries, just that forward momentum, just that burst of energy, just the, you know, for me it might be, I'm going to sit down and record a bunch of tarot because I know in the week I'm just going to be too exhausted. You know, it's that kind of energy of being like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. I've had an idea for a video or content. I'm going to do a bunch of recordings and then put it out. And then we get to Sunday and it's like, whew, let's breathe. You know, because you've got the Libra, the adjustment, the justice, you know, and she's literally balancing, can you see, on the very tip of her toes and the sword. So she's slightly above and the sword is just there. And it's such a delicate balance. She needs kind of all of her concentration. You know, with everything kind of balanced either side, you see the different signs within the Libra bit. And also her cloak that looks like wings that hold her up. And the way that the kind of spikes that come off her cloak, and this, I'm going to call it a scale because I can't remember what it is. You know, they're teetering on these little, they remind me of balloons, and they're not bursting. Everything is with such precision that it's so much focus, but it's also so much balance. And I feel like this comes from your ideas, come from the different things that come on that Friday. And also, I think a lot of you by Sunday realize, oh, I need to put myself first more. I'm close to burnout. I'm close to X, Y, Z. I need to care for myself more. That is your week. Now, do I want letters or things? Where are we going? I want here. So this is I finally put it in a bowl. I spent 9 hours, literally I think it was over 9 hours, just putting together cards. There's all sorts of things in here. There's languages. I'll stop doing that while talking. There's languages, there's places, there's descriptions. There's a whole bunch of different things. There's places, there's cities, there's, family members. There's all, you name it, I've got like always dresses in a specific color, that kind of stuff. Right, let's have a look. What is coming up for you in the week? I'm going to try and just put one for each day. Let's try this, see how it resonates. Okay, there we go. Let's see. I kind of just want to do this. Okay. You need to, we're going to put you here. Okay, you want to go there. That's fine. And, yep. Okay, I'll put you back. Don't know what that was. Put you back. Can put you back. So Dublin and start your own business are going back. I'm going to leave those as it is. So this won't resonate for everyone. I'm just trying something. Santiago could be a name or a person. It could be a place. Could be you guys thinking of going on holiday and booking something to Santiago. Same with Vietnam. Swahili. You could be learning Swahili. You could be connected to someone who speaks Swahili. I feel like sometimes we don't always realise or know what languages people speak. Maybe it's me being a bit ignorant. Cyclists, either somebody you're dealing with towards kind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Could be a love interest. Is like a big scientist? Okay, we'll go with scientist. A cyclist, academia and research. There could be a scientist with that. And finance and accounting. So yeah, I feel like Saturday towards Sunday. I mean, it's nothing like finance and accounting to make you want to just kind of calm down, not have that burst of energy and be like, okay, we need to center and look at these numbers and humble yourself. I feel like I want to pull an advice card for you guys as well, because this is not all going to resonate with some people. I mean, it might do. Maybe you love the, Vietnamese culture and you go get some food, Vietnamese food. I don't know. So let's give you your advice for the week. Oh, hello. Okay. Oh, that's so cute. 3 graces. So corporate ventures with friends, joy, sharing new partnerships that are fun. I did put back, so obviously I had Dublin. I put back start your own business. You've got vacation poking up there. Oh, that one's blank. Let's put that over here. Let's put that there. There we go. Maybe I should have kept that. Oh well. So yeah, 3 graces, but also friends as well. And the 3 graces obviously are past, present, future. It's that kind of stuff. So everything combining together, to manifest in the now. And this card, every time I see it, is really about have fun, embrace the potential for collaboration, embrace, let me bring it up. There we go. Embrace just all the joy and everything else, and embrace success. I feel like some of you really struggle to receive and accept a compliment. Try and do that. Do I want to pull one more thing for you? Yeah, I'm getting called for this. So this is my deck. Although I really was looking at that first card. So what would help part 1? What would help part 1? Lots of things. Oh, for goodness sake. So we're going to put you back. I saw that choose you first. So I'm going to go with that. What a mess. Oh my goodness. Give me a second. There we go. Leave those there. So yeah, choose you first. Look at the little kitty. Make yourself the priority as you're as you're doing with these. I mean, it's just moved the things around. That's fine. You choose you. Be your biggest cheerleader. So, this is everything I want to tell you. Thank you so much, Pile 1. Interesting. Sorry, I love my cards. I'm biased, but I do love them. But yeah, thank you so much, Pile 1. If you enjoyed this reading, it was a bit random, but it's fine. Just please like and subscribe. It really helps me out as a new YouTuber as well, because the more people kind of engage, the more these videos get out there to the people that need them and that resonate and everything, and will hopefully help, you know, more than anything else. But yeah, greatly appreciated. If you want me to change anything up, obviously I'm still just going with however I feel, then yeah, just let me know. Happy to take requests. Thank you, bye. Hello, Pile 2. I feel like already I want to go, we're just like checking in with you guys. I feel like I'm balancing so much in the last week and this week, and I feel like when I'm tapping into your energy, it's the same thing. I mean, you're still in this kind of, you know, you've got the perfume, the spray, we got the little I'm getting that oh my god, what is it called? Is it Anchorman? Where he goes, it works 60% of the time, every time, or something like that. I'm getting that whole thing of just using humour, although this actually reminds me of The Simpsons for some reason, but that whole thing of just using humour to just be like, pss, pss, we're spraying everything away, but also the idea of just spraying it in someone's face and being like, go away. Almost like using pest repellent and just being like, go away, human, annoying person, get lost. Like, why is that person insufferable? It's all that kind of stuff. There's a lot kind of going on. It's been you're still in your like Delulu. There still is like a Delulu energy to the whole thing, but it is a little bit like reality is pulling you. So I haven't seen these yet. 1, 2, 3. I did pick 7. So that's good. We're going to get into these. I want to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So let's get into it. I'm just going to turn them all around. Ooh. We need to cover some things up. I don't have anything else if any of the others are nude. I just realised. Okay. Oh, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. Thursday. Okay. Now we're good. Oh, I've just had a flashback to the introduction where we did the hermit. Yeah. Oh no, Pile 2. Okay. I feel like you're going to be doing a bit of a switch. I feel like Pile 1 is going to be having the week that you guys wanted to kind of continue on, and you're having the, I'm going to swear, the shit that Pile 1 had to deal with. So, because the spray is upside down. So, first of all, I'm getting Gen V, as in the show. So some of you are definitely big fans of like The Boys, Gen V, but also that idea of living in your fantasy still, which is a common theme for you, Pile 2. And it's that kind of like, you know, if superheroes were real, what would I be? All that kind of stuff. So, yeah. And I feel like you're really wanting to stay in that kind of mood of just escapism, and reality is really like, come on, here we go. So this is the Aeon. There we go. We'll cover it to that point so you can see. This is about working with your inner child. You know, and your inner person and who you are to your core. That's what I mean by inner person. And you know, you know and see everything. You are intuitive. You know and see everything you need to see. You see through people as well. You see the reality of a situation. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm really drawn to these bits above the child's head, which, even though it's like a bird and stuff, it's reminding me of like Medusa's hair, the snakes. And it kind of makes me want to think whenever I see that, because that's in my like stories, but it makes me think somebody here is trying to make you out to be a monster. You know, somebody is really trying to burst your Delulu bubble, but not in a nice way. It's that kind of thing. And you're in your emotions, but you're not sat in them. It's that escapism. Again, you can see that inquisitive kind of look. You know, that always reminds me of Austin Powers. There's a lot of like movie references with you guys. And yeah, you know, it's the emotion, she's there, you're not really sat in it. You're just in your different levels of delusion. I just realised I flashed him, but it's fine. You're in your different levels of, you know, delusion, but you're still really trying to like cater for your inner child, and you'll keep doing that on Monday. Let's give it that up. Tuesday is about, you know, your bubble is kind of bubble. I can't even say it. Your bubble is burst, and you are in the reality of life. You know, 3 of discs works. This is about making sure the core point of you, whether that's your physical health, your mental health, and what is the other aspect of that? Reality, are all kind of set in motion, making sure your needs are set with that. Jinxie is being a pain because you're hungry. Thank you. It's not dinner time yet. She's just trying it. And maybe that's a sign. Maybe people are really trying it with you and it's finally like burst your bubble a bit. But yeah, this is about your kind of 3 aspects. And I'm also getting the drama triangle. I can't remember if it was you guys, pile 2, that had that in the previous week. But looking at, you know, there's always a victim, a rescuer, and a perpetrator. And going back to kind of here, where I was looking at the Medusa's hair, you know, someone's trying to make you out to be the perpetrator in this scenario. And it doesn't matter like where you know, look at the triangle. When you're feeding into that triangle, those cogs are still going to continue to spin. So it doesn't make a difference. You really have to kind of remove yourself out of the situation. And I'm really drawn to here, which is like an overstimulation of energy and emotions and everything else, and you know, things, you know, tearing apart, ripping at the seams. So Tuesday's not, it sounds worse than it actually is. Tuesday's not a horrible day. It's more a case of people are really testing your patience, and it's really burst your bubble. It's really got under your skin. Some comments that people have said, you know, things with work, all of the rest of that kind of stuff. You know, maybe it's your own kind of delusion as well, which has been saving you, is suddenly not doing it. You're not getting the dopamine rush from watching these shows or doing these other things that you would before. And Wednesday was sat in our feels with the sorrow. You know, you've got the overthinking. Either way, again, you've got the 3. So with this point, but obviously you're sturdy, and that's the sword of clarity. You know, that's in Ace of Swords as well. So this is really about, for some of you, it's that drama triangle. You know, you're stepping out. Quite literally, you're going, zoop, I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this. I'm taking my part out. This is it. Some of you, this is a parent dynamic I'm getting. Yeah, this is a parent dynamic, you know, where you feel almost a bit ganged up on, or their views are, you know, of a different generation than yours. I'm not going to say outdated, but just of a different generation. Anything else? And I'm getting this idea of people really vying for your attention and vying for you to stop what you're doing and just go help them. I can't remember if it was your week, your pile last week, who also had that concept of, you know, a parent who, you know, is constantly leaning on you, and, you know, they're more than capable to do their day job or, you know, to use a phone, and then suddenly they don't know how to download an app. They don't know how to use their mobile phone. They don't know how to use a house phone. They can't work the TV remote. It's that kind of stuff. And then they're bugging you to do all the stuff with them. And they're not really interested in you teaching them. They just want you to do this stuff for them. You know, more than anything else. You've got Princess of Discs. Jinx is fine. If you hear her yowling, she's absolutely fine. It sounds more dramatic than what it actually is. It's not. She's either lost her toy, she wants attention, or she wants food. and it's 15 minutes till her dinner time, and she's not getting it early, so she's annoyed. But anyway, it's her home as well, so you're just gonna deal with it. Yeah, Princess of Discs. She is funny. Princess of Discs is really about just coming back into center. It is about what you feed into the earth goes into the sky. So what happens with your physical body feeds into your mental health. What happens in your mental health feeds into your physical body, and that kind of stuff. And you know, you've got the antlers here to show wisdom. She's pregnant, so it's the birth of something. Obviously, take things as they resonate. This could be a whole situation where, you know, there's a pregnancy and maybe family members aren't supportive. You know, it could be that. And okay, I'm getting a few things. You know, I'm really focusing on the balance of this more than anything else. Bear with me a sec. Sorry about that, my loves. Jinx went on a rampage and decided she was going to eat her scratching post, I should say, which she's never done before. We've been together 18 years, my child and I, and yeah, that's a new one. So anyway, keep her on my toes, or keep me on my toes. You know what I'm trying to say. Where were we? So yeah, what I was getting with the birth, I think I already said this, is that maybe there's a pregnancy or something else, and you know, maybe the family or on either side aren't here for it, kind of thing. But yeah, this is really about coming back into balance by Monday, Tuesday, Thursday with this. Yeah, and giving yourself the things that you need. Like, I'm seeing this big fluffy blanket, almost like, you know, throwing a massive blanket over yourself and lying on the sofa and just kind of caring for your needs, you know, just eating as much as you can or whatever you can, just sort of sleeping as much as you can, just doing all of those things, drinking as much water as possible with that, and just setting. This is a very grounding card, and it's a lot of it's about physical nourishment as well. It is very much about, you know, I was talking about things that tie up here. This is like, okay, well, I can control the physical, and I can control, you know, how much sleep I get, how much I eat, what I eat, all those kind of things. Yeah, and the rest. You know, rest isn't just sleep. You also need a kind of spiritual rest and an emotional rest and all of that kind of stuff. So that is where we are for Thursday. Friday is a bit more like, okay, virtue, we're coming, we've got the 3 here, and you see you've got the spikes. You know, your thoughts, your mental health, your spiritual health, everything is a bit more in alignment than before. I feel like it's been a testing week, and you're a bit more in the sense of yay Friday for those of you that work in the week. But this feels better for me. There's a softness with the kind of these flowy bits that, even though it's very Aries, this reminds me of a kind of, okay, we're still putting things into action, but we're going slow. We're not burning ourselves out. We're taking it easy, and this looks a bit like an eye for me, which is like, okay, I'm going to watch the things that I say to myself, the things that I do, that kind of stuff. As we come into Saturday, you've got that kind of hermit mode again, focusing on what do I need as I go into myself. You're always kind of, there's always with Cerberus, and then one of us looking back, or at some points parts of you looking back going, okay, these people need me. It's like wanting to have a no phone day, but you know, keeping your Apple Watch on, for example, or whatever that has notifications. It's like, okay, I might not have my phone, but I'm still reachable, and you're still looking out for others and being like, okay, what does this person need, you know? But predominantly you're focusing more on yourself on Saturday with this, and you're looking to hope, to the universe, to, you know, what is it? It's your future self. What is it that I really need at this whole situation? Because yeah, you carry your spark and your hope, and again, you've got these kind of fields here, and you can see the kind of fields in this bit. So it's nourishment in that sense. You're looking at the things you control, and you're looking at what you can nourish yourself with. Again, it's not I'm making a lot of these sound worse than what it is, or more dramatic than what it is. It's not a bad week. It's just a bit of a shake-up. It's a bit of the delulu, the illusion, just all the rest of it has burst. We're into reality. I'm hearing that Eminem song, but it's just that little bit that says snap back to reality. It's like that is going over in my head. Not the rest of the song. It's just those lyrics. That's it. And the tower, everyone panics when they see the tower. And don't get me wrong, there are times where I'm like, no. But it depends. The tower is one of those cards, it depends on the context of the rest of the other cards around it. And this, to me, feels like this is you setting your own tower on fire, if that makes sense. This is motivated by you. Again, we have that, can I pick it up? That eye kind of here. You can see, you know, you're looking at quite a few of these have like symbols, like almost like an eye symbol. You're doing this to yourself, you know, and I'm really drawn to the hope, which is the piece. You're giving yourself an olive branch, you know, and this, you're not throwing yourself over the tower or breaking everything down or throwing other people. This is you there's a little bit of rage here, but this is you being like, okay, enough's enough. This feels very like boundary setting to me, and very, you're making some changes because you can't keep doing this dance, this cycle. You can't keep being in this drama triangle, you know, here as well. You can't keep doing it. It's exhausting. Some of you, this has to do with actual work, your careers. I'm seeing like a manager going into an office, possibly I was going to say something else, but the word dispute came into my head. So a dispute, I was going to say like not a tribunal, but a appraisal. There we go. But yeah, this feels more like a dispute. Maybe, you know, off the back of last week, you told someone what you thought, and maybe they can't take criticism. You know, that's fine. That's their problem. That's not yours. Anything else. You know, and obviously your manager has to be there to kind of keep the peace. You're not going to get on with everyone. And some people are idiots. And I don't mean that in terms of like they're academically dumb. I just mean that they're small-minded. That's not your problem. And this very much feels like it's not my problem. You know, those people can do whatever. But yeah, again, not your problem. But this feels very much like, okay, when that person works a shift, I'm just not going to engage with them or work with them, whatever else. This is you putting things into perspective, or even you going up to them and being like, clearly you have a problem. You're quite like, there's not an abruptness part too, but you know where you stand. You know, it's like that feeling. You know, there's not you're kind, but you're not always nice. Does that make sense? You're nice when you need to be, but when some people are disrespectful, you're gonna put them in your place. Like, you're kind of scrappy. I quite like you, pal, too. You know, this feels very much in the case of just walking up to someone and being like, we're not going to get on. I'm not going to pretend we're going to get on. So there's, you know, we can draw a line here, draw a truce, whatever. But yeah, just put it as it is and that's it. That's what I'm feeling. This tower has there's a few different meanings for it. I feel like for some of you, you're just deciding, let's change a bunch of stuff. That's, you know, it could be simple, like going through your wardrobe and clearing out things on Vinted or whatever. And it could be going through your CV and clearing out the stuff that you don't need, or editing a book or whatever else. This feels like a couple of different things putting into place. And I want to say, don't take on too many things at once. Focus on one thing. That you see how the hermit just has the hope, just carrying the one thing, you know, because otherwise it becomes too much with that. I'm going to draw you one of my cards as like advice, if I can pick these up with these nails. Oh my god. There we go. No, there we go. Have I moved the camera? Yeah, I think so. That's fine. Okay, what is the advice? What is the thing that you need to know? What would really help? Okay, that was not the card I was going to pull out. Ah, rest. What was the card? Ooh, yeah. So, I'm knocking everything over. So, the card that I was going to pull out was Aphrodite and Aries. You can see where I misspelled Aries and had to quickly put in the I. But the Empress and the Emperor, you know, love and war, passion, fear, terror. This is very much a week of you having love for yourself. And I'm hearing putting the fear in others. You know, when we set boundaries, we are really saying, I want to work with you on this relationship. I love myself enough to do that. I love you enough to do that, to continue to make this a place where we both can thrive, you know, but there is a confrontation. A lot of the times, not all the times with this. And that's why I get the feeling with that card. I'll put that there. Rest and recover. You need sleep. What did I say about rebalance? Here. And then rest is not failure. You know, good rest, not just sleep, like a good reset. Have a spa night, run a bath. If some of you like to go to a gym and that's your form of rest, I can't pretend to not judge you, because that is not my form of rest. But you know, it might be that you want to go on a hike, whatever else. That's fine. You know, my time of rest is lying on the sofa and watching Star Wars. So we each do our own thing, but it's actual rest. Okay, that is your card for the week. So, Riddle Fisher, I nearly said that wrong. I nearly said Riddle Finder, which is different. You know, divination, seeking out and finding answers. This feels like this part of the week that will help you the most, that very start of the week, that kind of Monday to Wednesday, which is, you know, she's using the key here as like to sense the energy of certain things and to find certain things, almost like a magnet. And this feels like, you know, people kind of talking out of their backside, should I say. And this very much feels like, find the answers for yourself. Don't listen to gossip or hearsay or anything else, or take it into account. Some of you will be wrapped up in that. You know intuitively what's right, what's not right, where things don't align, and yeah, all the rest of it. And I really want to say, like, really focus on yourself. And I think part of this applies to the end of the week and going, you know what it is you want to cleanse and what it is you want to change and look at and, yeah, and move forward from. No, I don't want to pick anything else. I know in pile one I picked some of these little bits, but yeah, I don't want to pick anything. It's the same with the letters, nothing shouting at me. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there, pile two. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Please comment, please share with friends. You know, I'm a young YouTuber. That's not what I was going to say, because I'm not young, but I'm a fresh YouTube creator, and I want to keep doing this, and I want to make sure the right people have access to these readings. So yeah, please do give me any kind of engagement, but also give me any kind of feedback if you want me to focus on specific things. I'm more than happy to do that, and we build a little community, which will be really gorgeous as well. Thank you so much. Hello, pile three. Thank you for watching. Greatly appreciated. I'm gonna just get very comfortable and we can start. In fact, I'm just gonna zoom out just a little bit for you guys, and then you can see where I place the cards a bit easier. Sorry, give me a second. There we go. That should be fine. So you guys picked the butterfly, and I'm really drawn to just how childish these kind of colors are. There's like a real joy and enjoyment here. You know, these little sparkles remind me of something like a blessing coming along, and just kind of, you know, I've got 7 ways to say this, and all of them are trying to appear in my head, but you know, in Peter Pan, when Tinkerbell uses her like fairy dust to make you fly, this is what this reminds me of. This is what this kind of looks like to me, the kind of sparkly fairy dust, and something come along and just being like, woo, gotta put fairy dust all over you. That kind of thing. There's a childlike innocence and a playfulness, and I'm seeing like when you're a kid and you're just kind of scribbling things in. That's what I'm seeing, and it's that. Some of you are getting really like arty this week, and you're discovering more of things that made you happy, more of your kind of childhood blessings. You know, the things that you enjoy as a kid. Maybe that was painting. Maybe that was colouring. Maybe that was doing those like little mazes. Or what was the thing where you join the dots? You join like number 1 to number 2, 2 to 3, and then 4. And then you'd go across and eventually you'd make like a design. It's like that kind of stuff that's coming to mind. I'm going to put this down. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I feel like you really need that kind of playfulness as well. I can't really remember your pile 3 from last week, if I'm honest. I feel like by the time I get to you, pile 1 has exhausted me. And pile 2, they're slightly more of like a delusional Lulu kind of thing. So by the time I get to you, pile 3, I'm exhausted. Anything else, but yeah, I like the kind of, there's a gentleness to this. So Monday, oh, this is cute. Tuesday, how nice, look at the you know it's gonna be a good reading when you get the sun card. Sorry, I get overexcited. Wednesday, did punch, not as initially, my feeling is not as bad as what you think. Thursday, how interesting. Did you guys get defeat last week? I can't remember. Friday, worry. Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so this looks kind of bad. It's not. It's fine. Don't overly panic as well. And you can see kind of in the latter part of the week why I said about, you know, that kind of playfulness and childlike energy, and eventually something coming along and just, you know, spraying you with good luck more than anything else. So we'll start with Monday. Monday, which is tomorrow, you're starting off with a real victory. Here, things are in place. You know, little fires have been lit in various different directions. You're balancing things. So there's not quite a burnout energy to this, but there are a lot of little fires. You are balancing anything and everything that you can with this. And I feel like I want to tell you just to go have a cup of tea. You know, just to go take a second. You know, I have 2. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. But yeah, like I have 2 drinks kind of on the go because I'm a bit like you in the sense of we're burning loads of fires. We're going. We're lighting things, different ideas, different sparks of imagination, different projects. This is very much like a different project kind of feel. And you're very much with the number 4, you're very much the emperor, the owner of that. You know, you survey the land, you know what every kind of region, district, whatever is doing, you know. And I feel like for a lot of you, you are the head of the house, even if that's just you. Even if your home family is just you, you know. Or if it's larger, you've got a partner, you've got children, you've got whoever, you live with other family, other friends, you are the decision maker, I want to say. Yeah, and I feel like you with the snakes, they're looking in the right direction, they're not looking back at each other, but you are literally looking at every direction as well, apart from down, you know, because you're looking up. This is victory. This is you in your element. This is success. The sun card is one of my favorites. Wait a second, there is nudity. No, we're good. So even though there's naked cherubs, you can't really see anything. Maybe I will. There we go. The sun card literally means yes. For me and for like a lot of tarot readers, it is the enjoyment of life. It is the joy. This is Tuesday. If you are, you know, looking at wondering if something's going to come into fruition, that is a yes. That is a great big yes. You know, there's a celebration. Butterflies. Again, can you see here? You know, in your full kind of playfulness, inner child element, this is a unification. You've got crab, which is family, as well as Cancer. You've got all the other signs that go around. Here, you've got two children playing again, that kind of playfulness, but in a loving kind of way with this. And you can see, if I turn them around, you can see the dragon here, which is, you know, upside down, but it all works in a circle. So he's in his glory aspect. And this bridge here, so it's about, you know, the grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence, but for you, your grass, your garden, all of that, it is green, everything is flourishing. Tuesday's a really good day as well. And we'll put that there. So when we get into Wednesday, debunch. Now it's really interesting. Of course I knocked that. It's really interesting because the Tarot Tarot deck, or rather Aleister Crowley, changed a lot of different things. And the Seven of Cups, from my understanding, I could be wrong, is actually, so it's a Venus card, and it's different when you look at other, like the Rider-Waite deck or any of the others. You know, this is, it's a different perspective. Crowley had something against Venus for whatever reason. Yeah, but this is debunch, so it's almost like an overindulgence. This always reminds me of kind of like getting rid of things, you know, getting rid of the gunk, the goo, cleaning, having a look at, okay, what really needs working here. And this, to me, feels like, you know, when you've come out of something good, because no one ever tells you how to deal with success, but when you come out of something good, or you're in the kind of the good times, that I would say, there is sometimes a bit of a reflection. And a lot of times that reflection is needed, in which you kind of go, okay, this is working. What isn't working? What needs cleaning? What can I take a really sharp eye to? Really look internally and really look at and step away. Maybe this was something, you know, more of an emotional nature, because it's cups and you literally got kind of raining goopy acid. And the kind of the waters are disgusting, and the water here is emotions. You know, what is it about this whole thing that needs clearing, that you weren't able to turn your eye to before? This is also, I think, for some of you, a bit of a closure as well, in the way of you've had success. Maybe you're going through a divorce. The divorce has come through kind of Monday, Tuesday. Again, take what resonates. And Wednesday, you're like, okay, let's move out. Let's, you know, delete or block their number. Let's do that kind of stuff. It's that. It's things that you're cleaning, you're getting rid of, you're clearing out the trash. Sorry, that's the only thing that came to mind on Wednesday, for things that don't serve you. Yeah? There's a real change, but these really connect. And I'm not feeling like that's a bad thing at all. I'm not feeling at all any of this is a bad thing. And then we come to Thursday. And this to me is admitting defeat as opposed to defeat itself. This is you going, okay, it's kind of coming off the back of Wednesday, where you're clearing things out, and maybe you couldn't do it before because you were too emotionally connected. I think I said that already, but I'm going to say it again. So, you know, you needed a success of some other kind, you needed something else. There's a real clearance as opposed to an ending of it. And defeat is going, I'm going to control what I control and leave the rest up to the universe. It's that kind of thing, because when we turn the pentacle to the other side, obviously that means protection. So there is a kind of overthinking aspect here. We've got the blue of emotions, you've got the kind of earthy groundedness of reality, and you've got the purple, which is like the thoughts, the higher self. Green is also love as a kind of chakra element. So I feel like for some of you, this is a relationship kind of situation. It could also be a work thing as well, like a work friendship. You know, maybe, I don't know, you were in a work competition, you won. During that whole competition, you know, saw somebody else's true colours kind of thing, and actually coming out of this, you know, as a kind of ripple effect, it's time to get rid of that person. And there's kind of a little bit of a sadness to it, but also it's very much needed. You're not looking at the romanticism of the situation. You know, that's what I feel with this. This is very much a protection in that sense. You're admitting defeat. You're kind of going, I can't control these things, but what I can control, I will. Friday, we're coming into worry, and I feel like I want to tell you that your worries and your fears and your perceptions are not reality. This is more of a, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right choices? You know, sometimes we have a little bit of panic, you know, come in. But can you see it comes off the back of the defeat because it has the pentacle here as well. If you can see that, there we go. Here, and again, if I turn these around, it's protection in that way, you know. So yeah, this just feels like a little bit of like inner chatter. You know, do I have everything in place? Do I have, you know, all my eggs aligned kind of thing? And Friday is just going to be that kind of day where you worry about the things that you can't control, you know. So it's fine. It's not a massive thing. And then Saturday, Queen of Swords. Oh, she's nude. I've had her nude the whole time. Okay, I've just pulled out South Korea. So, whoops, I didn't realise. Nudity in this, if you don't know about thoth tarot or thoth tarot, you'll hear it pronounced different ways. Nobody taught me how to pronounce it when I was doing these readings in the 90s. But yeah, the nudity means vulnerability. Again, you've got the kind of childlikeness here. The cherub is your higher thought. The spikes here representing kind of an overthinking as well. You've got the sword of clarity here, which is part of the Ace of Swords. And she's taken off like old masks. She's sat in the heavens on her throne, on her success. She's reviewing and reflecting the changes, and she's going, okay, that was all part of the old me. I'm changing now. With this success, it is giving me the momentum to carry on. Yeah, and my higher thoughts are more positive. They're more in alignment with the universe. And she's vulnerable, like she is who she is. Oh my goodness. And I didn't even notice that she was flashing, which probably says a lot. You know, but I think you spend more time thinking about what other people are thinking about you than just living your life sometimes. And this is a thing to be like, sometimes when you're completely vulnerable, people don't even notice. They just accept and love you for you. And then you've got disappointment, which again, if you look at the pentacle, we've got a lot of pentacles here as well, which again, protection. Disappointment, I feel like there's two ways of this. One is a disappointment in some people, in people that maybe who you thought had your back when it came to success, and actually they didn't. There's kind of a jealousy there. You know, they say that when you achieve success, you see who your true friends are. You know, people who've won the lottery or whatever, they, you know, say, you know, their circle suddenly, or circle of friendship suddenly got a lot smaller. You know, people appreciate and they love you for who you are, not because you've come into like a windfall of money or whichever else. And, you know, some people will disappoint you a little bit on Sunday. I feel like also change of plans on Sunday. If there was a kind of celebration for here, be prepared for kind of change of plans as well. And the disappointment as a card is, it depends how you take it. It really does depend on your own perspective more than anything else. And Jinx is really acting up. So I feel like there's definitely people who will act up as well in that stance for you on Sunday. And yeah, can you see the cups are empty, but they're not broken. They're not full. They don't have anything in there. They don't have anything else to give. But they're also, you know, there's nothing filling those cups. And I want to say, you know, just don't burn yourself out. Don't, you know, give in to those negative thoughts. Don't block yourself from receiving love, because once these bits of disappointment unveil, those things can start to fall down and those cups can start to fill again. You know, that's what I feel like for Sunday. I was going to say something else, but it's completely gone out of my head because Madamski over here, you can see her little ears. There she is. She is being naughty, aren't you? So yeah, that's where we are for Sunday. I want to give you one of my cards as well. You gonna bless? You gonna sniffs? Sniff, sniff, sniffs. What advice can we give pile 3, Jinxerella? I feel like you can see my fluffy slipper. Oh no, you can't. It doesn't matter anyway, but sometimes it's distracting. They're bright pink, they've got Powerpuff Girls on them, and they're ridiculous, which is why I love them. Sometimes we need a bit of whimsiness. Oh, in fact, what I was saying with here, with the butterfly, sometimes you do need a bit of a whimsiness, a bit of silliness, you know. And I did say windfall. Some of you, you know, the idea of a windfall of money. And I did say about having pixie dust sprayed on you. You know, that success. So maybe some of you are coming into a little bit of money that you didn't anticipate. What is your, I'm still shuffling. What is your advice? It's this one. Strength. I'd knock everything over. Strength. Oh, you got 2. The ache. So we got strength, feeling strong, mental resilience, mental and physical health, consistency. So maybe something that you have been consistently working at. Maybe you're a YouTuber, you know, things will really start to pay off the early start of the week, and then you make adjustments throughout. And it's that mental resilience of being like, this works, this doesn't work, getting through worry as well. For some of you, it could be a health thing. You know, you could get really good news about a test. Take this how it resonates, and obviously it's entertainment purposes. I'm not a doctor. But maybe some of you are waiting for a blood test to come in. You get the results, say everything's fine. That's great. That's fantastic. Celebrate that. And then try and work out, okay, where do we go from here? And what does that lead to? Hopefully that makes sense. You've got the ache. So something ignored for too long. I was talking about that. Maybe you're too emotionally kind of close to something. Something hurts. Something needs dealing with head on. You know, and again, we're going to here. And this is you dealing with that. Maybe you just didn't have the, you know, the mental resilience. Maybe you didn't have the strength or the health or the consistency to deal with something kind of head on. So this is where, yeah, I want to put those. And I kind of want to go in. So one more thing, I'm going to go in here, which is you can see my bowl of stuff. I took about 9 hours to, oh my goodness, let's give that a real shake. There we go. I just want to grab this. It's a really small amount. So, serious. Maybe somebody is too serious. And we've got teaching and education. So maybe you get an award for teaching and education. Or maybe maybe you applied for a master's or a degree or some kind of qualification. And, you know, you've been given the heads up that you can start in September or whatever. And then it's just, okay, how do we make this work? Kind of thing. And getting down and being serious about what it is that you want. On the back, I didn't want to grab this, but just for your advice of the week, I've got mourning for something sacred which seems lost. Just let go of that emotionality of it. You'll be fine. But I want to give you advice for this week. I'm really struggling to shuffle these for some reason. I've had these cards for decades. I think these were my first Oracle deck. So we are going back early 2000s. That one. Touch and exchange. Yeah. So I'm going to put him there. So this is touch, exchange, connection. Oh, you can't see it. You know, ask for what you want and look at the kind of physicality of that. Maybe putting things, emotions, connect with people. You know, this is more about the connection and the touch and the exchange kind of with yourself as opposed to with other people. And, you know, going back to that kind of strength and that mental resilience, you know, maybe you really need to tap into those parts of yourself. Exchange kind of words with yourself as well here. Maybe you need to, I'm saying maybe a lot because there's different ways to interpret this. And I feel like this card is very subjective to the situation that you're dealing with. You'll know what resonates. You know, exchange. Maybe you need to have a good conversation with someone. You know, an exchange of boundaries. We'll go with that word. I was going to say exchange of words, that doesn't quite reply. So yeah, exchange of boundaries as well. And this is, can I get it so that the light doesn't shine on it? Kinda. You know, this is about things, you know, that are acorn seeds that are planted, how they grow and they fruit and they, you know, become like this huge thing. But it started off with something small. So yeah, everything that you do continues and continues to build. You know, this isn't the end with success as well. But yeah, that's all I'm kind of getting with this. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Hopefully that all made sense. Let me move him up there. And those things kind of resonated. Yeah, I think your advice for the week really is just to continue to touch base with yourself, connect with yourself, have that physical intimacy with yourself in terms of those conversations, those exchanges, that reflection, all of that. That's what I've been trying to say. And that is the end. So thank you so much, pile 3. Greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe. Please comment. Please engage in any way. Please share with whoever that you think it might help them in any way. I am obviously a new YouTuber, so any kind of engagement is really, really helpful because it just means that it will continue to kind of be pushed out to the right people, which is really what I want, and that would be really great. But yeah, thank you so much.